Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Alright everyone, I hope you're all doing fantastic. Now, in the description box, there will be an article that I'll put in there from the WBO, where they've just made their decision regarding the Dillian Whyte or Oleksandr Usyk as the official mandatory, and there's a whole lot of more things that they talk about. So as I said, I'm going to put in the description box, go over read it for yourself. Don't go there just yet, of course, you need to finish this video. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Click that subscribe button, you're going to love it over here. Now, I was first made aware of this story late last night. I was watching a video by Big Boys Boxing, so big up to him, go check that out. And in this article, as I said, there's lots and lots of different nuggets in here, where they say that Dillian Whyte, who applied to become the WBO mandatory probably about a month or two before he fought Oleksandr Usyk. Okay, now they've only just made a decision on this one, and they pretty much outline a decline because of a couple of reasons. Number one, their rules are that if a champion is a super champion or an undisputed champion from a lower weight class and they wish to move up, they have the right to become the WBO mandatory. So Oleksandr Usyk was undisputed cruiserweight world champion and of course WBO super champion in cruiserweight. He's now vacated those belts, moved up to heavyweight, so he is installed immediately as mandatory. Much like Terence Crawford did when he moved from 140 to 147, he automatically became the mandatory for Jeff Horn, if you guys remember. So this is not unheard of. It's not a new thing that they're doing. Okay, so listen, this is their rules. We can't really argue with it, okay? We have to respect the fact that that is their rules. It's been their rules for a while. But that's not the only reason why they have declined Dillian Whyte's request to become mandatory for the WBO. The other one is that because since that application, he fought and defeated Oleksandr Usyk, and that was for not only the mandatory position, but their interim world title for the WBC. The WBO consider Dillian Whyte a world heavyweight champion, as in they put him in the same bracket as a super champion, if you like, in Deontay Wilder, in the same bracket as Andy Ruiz through the IBF and the WBA. They see Dillian Whyte in the same bracket, so therefore they can't rank or put another champion in their mandatory position. If Dillian Whyte was to fight, say, the champion of the WBO, whether that be Andy Ruiz Jr. right now or Anthony Joshua, should he beat Andy Ruiz, then that would be considered a unification, which means Dillian Whyte needs permission from not only the WBO to do a unification, but he also needs permission from the WBC. So this is a bit odd, that's for sure. I understand what it is, because interim world champion for the WBC means that if anything was to happen to Wilder, if he was to retire, for example, Dillian Whyte would automatically get that belt. And of course, he's first choice into having a full WBC world title shot. And in addition to all that, if, for example, Deontay Wilder, he goes too long and he keeps getting injured or whatever it may be, and he can't fulfill his mandatories or he can't defend his world title, Dillian Whyte will step in to take the place of Wilder. And when Wilder is fit and ready to come back, as an example, he will then fight Dillian Whyte for the title. So there's a whole lot of perks being the WBC interim world champion. But also, it's not a full champion right now. It's almost like champion in recess, if you like, or just waiting. But it is odd in some ways because, as I said, it's not a full champion. But as I said, listen, the WBO, this is their rules. It's not something new, so we can't complain too much about it, that's for sure. And I'm pretty sure that this is probably the last thing Dillian Whyte cares about right now with this whole situation going on with UKAD, where he's fighting to clear his name. That's the most important thing here. He's fighting to clear his name. We know that he's past father and all that, but because of this one discrepancy, whether he's cleared by UKAD or British Boxing Board of Control or whatever it may be on the panel, he still wants to clear his name. He wants to prove without a shadow of a doubt that he didn't do anything wrong, which is why this is also an additional to be taking a little bit more time. Now, to close off with this one, the WBO as I said, this is their rules for Oleksandr Usyk, and we have to respect that. And they also said, though, that whatever happens with Dillian Whyte in this whole UKAD situation as to whatever's going on, if he's cleared, then they consider him champion, so he can't be mandatory, and he can't fight somebody else for it either. But if he gets suspended, as an example, by UKAD, British Box Border Control, and the WBC sanction the suspension, then the WBO will also fall in line with whatever the WBC decide, and also remove Dillian Whyte from their rankings also. So it doesn't matter how you look at it, the pendulum isn't going to swing in the favour of Dillian Whyte as far as a WBO world title shot, unless the WBC grant him permission to have a unification. Weird, isn't it? Anyway, article in the description box. Go get a read for yourself. Of course, click the thumbs up to this video if you wouldn't mind, and of course subscribe if you're new on in. I appreciate it. Catch you all on the next one.